All right, traders. I'm gonna tell y'all in this video, we're gonna talk about the actual reason to trade, the actual benefit of trading, what it's good for, and what trading is not. So there's a lot of things to get into, psychology, lifestyle, but really this talk is more about self-development. And that's what I think trading is. You know my take, I think it's a terrible full-time job. But I think it is a wonderful self-development tool, and we're going to talk about why. So welcome in, fam. Much love. Trav here. If you don't know me, I'm an adventure entrepreneur living out here on Oahu. One of the things I do is trade. YouTube. I do marine tours where I take people out dive with porpoises, sometimes sharks if we're lucky. And I do private hiking adventure tours. And with the YouTube, there's mentoring, and with the trading, there's also selling my system. But I do a lot of things, and there's been points where trading has been the main thing, and points where trading has been a side thing. But I'm going to tell you, trading, it's not about the money. That's not the main thing that it can give you. It's about who you have to become to be a successful trader. It's an insane challenge. It is an insane challenge. There's nothing I've done in my life that's been quite so difficult. Part of it is picking it up in my 30s, where I know that if I had started when I was like 12, it'd be so easy. That's the way it is, right? You learn slower. So for those of you guys who've got an early start, congrats. Probably have an easier path than those of us who get into it older. But trading will teach you so many things. It will teach you about money. It'll teach you about the value of money. Pause. Nalani. My dog's funny. I like her. She's spazzing out. It's going to teach you the value of money. It's going to teach you the value of time, and it's going to teach you a lot about yourself. It's going to teach you a lot about yourself in terms of emotions, right? You have to really learn, master your emotions. It will teach you about how to discipline yourself. You have to learn how to follow rules, and that's why it takes so many years to become a profitable trader. It takes, even from the market wizards, the reality, some of y'all just start, you want to make money. Some of the market wizards, it took them 10 plus years to even become profitable. They eventually go on to become one of the best traders in the world, but it's very rare someone's profitable quickly. It does happen. It's more common to take years. Or just because you have a profitable year doesn't mean you're now a profitable trader, because you can slip up and go back into darkness. So let's break it down into some more specific things. Well, one thing is trading is going to teach you the value of money, of what it is and what it isn't, where when you have enough to survive, that is sufficient. But I hope a lot of people make a lot of money in trading to discover that it doesn't really change that much. It's useful, but if you don't like the way your time is, you're still going to be unhappy, right? Money does not make you happy. Lack of money can make life hard, but having enough and enjoying your time is a better setup than having a lot of money and not enjoying your time. So, I mean, I've been there where having profitable years, lots of money, feeling very rich, and I'm just on the computer all the time and not hating my life, but it's not the best life I've ever had. And having a lot of late night stress, early morning, and just doing degenerate things of like trading while driving, just taking unnecessary risk and danger outside of financial. But what's really hard about trading is that it is gambling. And you can be a professional gambler, you can have an edge gambling, you can make money gambling, but what gambling means is that it's uncertain. You're betting money and you get uncertain results. You don't know You never know which trade is going to work, which trade isn't. You get a sense that some trades are much more likely to work than others, but you don't really know, and that's what makes it gambling. And what makes it really hard is you have to go off of a process and not of what would have worked. Because if you're always chasing what would have worked, you're chasing this system, you're chasing that system, and it just doesn't work. And you have to separate yourself from the market and separate what you can control from what you can't control, and learn to be happy with your process. Because if you're focused too much on results, man, like you could do everything perfect and you have a losing trade and you beat yourself up, or you do everything wrong and you make money and you congratulate yourself. And that's the worst thing that can happen, set you down a really dark path. And you need to learn to be disciplined, and that's tough. It's like, how do you actually discipline yourself? That's a great question, right? This isn't something we're taught growing up. We're disciplined by outside forces. But I'll tell you what I've found for disciplining myself, and this is for someone who, I quit smoking weed, alcohol, tobacco many years ago, 5+ years ago now, but has in previous years, or in more recent years, struggled with compulsion around trading. Well, I learned a lot about discipline, but one of the things when it comes to trading is, or when it comes to habits, is abstinence is actually a lot easier than moderation, right? So it's actually easy to quit alcohol. It's easy to quit weed. It's hard to say, I'm just going to smoke weed 1 day a week at this specific time and nothing outside of that. And that's what you have to do with trading to be successful, because a lot of people blow up and quit trading, and that's the end of their story. And it's maybe for the best for them, but you have to learn to be successful in moderation, which is a lot harder than quitting. It's a lot harder than abstinence, of being disciplined and just trading by these rules in this time and these days. And what I found is, even as an adult, it's hard to discipline yourself. And what I've found throughout my life, and I'll share this is what I learned through trading, but also just living my life, is if I want to discipline myself, I need to enroll in something that gives me outside discipline. So, for instance, if I go back even 14 years ago, when I was staying up late and could not go to class, and I was going to university, and I wanted to start going to class, I disciplined myself by signing up for an early morning job. So now I'm working early in the morning, and I might skip class, but I'm not skipping my work that's paying me, that I could get fired, because I don't need to go to class to pass. So I started getting up early. It fixed my staying up late, and now I'm going to class, right? So when I wanted discipline in my life, that's where I committed to work on the farm and get up at 6:30 a.m. or start work at 6:30 a.m., get up at 5:45 every day. And now again, where it's like I need discipline in my life for my trading, let me take a job working on a boat where I start at 6:30, I gotta get up at 5:30, 5:45, or I'm gonna get fired or lose my job, right, or quit, right? So outside discipline is how you discipline yourself. I mean, you can do it. I don't know how David Goggins does it. That's what's worked for me, is anytime. And guess what? As soon as I signed up for this, getting up at 5:30 every day, like the late nights of staring at the charts stopped immediately, right? When I was trying to have rules, I cannot do this, whatever. Well, there was no consequence because I could just sleep in the next day, right? But now that I cannot, and I'm on a strict sleep schedule, right? It fixed it. So that's a part of discipline. And then another thing is emotions, right? You learn that how greed affects you, how fear affects you, how anxiety affects you, how hope affects you, how relief affects you, what triggers you to feel euphoric, what triggers you to feel afraid, how you're likely to act when you're afraid or euphoric. And there's a lot of professions you can just get by in life. Most people, you could just get by in life without ever really learning about your emotions and what triggers you and how you're likely to react, and having that emotional awareness. Trading, it's mandatory to figure that out, address it, and learn and be aware, because otherwise right, emotions. I could speak for hours on this, right? We could go into so depth, but that is something that one of the most valuable things that trading does is holds up a mirror and teaches you emotional awareness, emotional control, emotional regulation, and healthy habits, right? Teaching you to, instead of just going in and self-destructing, call a friend, go for a walk. There's so many things that I learned, like my anxiety's higher in the morning. First thing in the morning, my anxiety's higher. It's the lowest around the midday. That's when I want to trade, ideally, right? Or at least outside of the first hour of the morning. I know that I'm triggered on FOMO by watching price move without me or other people even talking about their trades. So I do not chart watch, and I don't talk to anyone who trades about the markets. I don't, right? I had to learn that. Watching a trade go against me causes me to feel fear and causes me to close before it's time. So again, I have to learn to not chart watch and take some external discipline and understand what triggers my fear and how I'm likely to act in that fear, right? And I'm likely to feel relieved after. I'm likely to feel positive emotions even after taking a loss, where I felt excited, and then I felt euphoric, and then I felt afraid, and then I felt anxious, and then I felt relief, and then I felt hope again. And it's like, well, I lost money, right? So understanding that I cannot be in this game to please myself emotionally, right? And that it taught me that I need any kind of emotional fulfillment has to come entirely outside of trading. Trading cannot be emotionally fulfilling in any way. It needs to be super boring, almost an asterisk of the day, like a footnote, right? I had times trading was so fucking exciting, huge risk, swinging on the 1 minute, and it just didn't work for me. I got everything I ever wanted in terms of emotional excitement and enjoyment, but those times weren't profitable. And the profitable times were super boring, nothing going on, doing other things, and just either waiting for the opportunity or in the opportunity waiting. So I had to learn to get my kicks out in other ways, which is great. It sent me out into my environment, and I think trading has done it, but it's made me, I know in the last 5 years, whatever, or since I started trading, I've cleaned up the habits that I talked about. I've cleaned up my diet. I believe I've improved certain habits, and I don't know how much I have trading to thank for it, but I'm also much more emotionally aware and also understand the value of money more, of what it is and what it isn't. So yeah, I'll say it always, it's a terrible full-time job, and I really don't recommend it for most people because it can be so destructive. But if you see it through to the end, it's an amazing self-development tool, and then it can become a great part-time business. But it's a huge upfront investment of money and time and stress, but you learn. So yeah, I'll be grateful for trading forever. And part of my story is I will never quit. I would maybe quit when I'm really profitable, after making enough, whatever enough is. I don't have a number, but I would never quit when I'm struggling, right? So that's my story, and yeah, trading can be great. I agree. People say it's a great self-development tool. I agree, it is. So hope you find that useful. Appreciate y'all. Much love. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.